Let's get it. Welcome to the first official episode of Out the Gate Podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Cosby. And if you're tuning in, a genuine thank you for joining me on this first episode. You could be doing anything with your time. I appreciate it. If you follow me here from my content journey via TikTok, Instagram, a big thank you to you guys as well. If it weren't for you guys, it wouldn't even have got to this point. I felt as though I was taking a leap of faith on the content thing. I just wanted to see kind of what happened, and you guys certainly exceeded my expectations. So a big thank you to you guys. If this is your first time seeing my face, hearing my voice, my name is Bryce Cosby, as I stated, and that's a good segue into exactly what this first episode is going to be about. And that's more so my journey, and not me in a bragging or boastful way, just I feel I can relate to a lot of people in the sense that the barriers I have knocked down, the places I have been, the goals I have reached, I felt I've done so in the most organic, authentic way possible. Meaning, specifically, I'm a professional athlete, former NFL, current CFL defensive back. I'm not 6 foot tall. I'm not the fastest person. I'm not the quickest person. But through a lot of controllable things, I felt like I was able to get to the point where I was at. Was it easy? Hell no. But still, like I said, that's why I feel like I can speak to everyone in a relatable sense, in an authentic sense. And that's going to be the consensus and the point of this podcast on a variety of topics. But I think the common denominator amongst the content I have posted and have got good engagement from has been, man, this is spot on. This is so accurate. This is so relatable. And I plan to do the same thing with this podcast. So I've got some notes here so I don't get off track as far as this episode is concerned. But it's nothing to it but to do it. So let's get into it, man. As I stated, this episode I think is vital. You all understand more of who I am outside of the skits and seeing me behind the camera, hearing my voice behind the mic, understanding who it is using this platform. Like I said, the Out the Gate Podcast. And so for me, everything starts with where I'm from, which is Louisville, Kentucky. So Louisville, I wouldn't consider it a small city. I wouldn't consider it a big city. And let's rewind a little bit. It's Louisville. Don't think too hard about it. Not Louisville, not Louisville, Louisville. Not gonna overdo it. You can rewind that, do what you need to do. Don't force it. Just let it, you know what I'm saying? Let it flow. Louisville. Alright. Anyways, I wouldn't say it's a small city. I wouldn't say it's a big city. Some would consider it the Midwest. Others would consider it the South. Me personally, I would consider it the South. But I think the best way to put it in my words would be Louisville. You know, you get that Midwestern grit as far as just a lot of hard-working, hard-nosed people in the city of Louisville. But you also get that Southern charm as far as tradition, hospitality. Growing up in your neighborhood, you probably had a good relationship with all your neighbors. People speak to you in the grocery store, all of that good stuff. And so anybody will tell you, growing up in the city of Louisville, in passing, or you meet somebody, it's going to be 2 questions that's always asked. Guaranteed. Number 1, what high school did you go to? People in Louisville ask you this question and swear they got you figured out. You know what I'm saying? Once you tell them what high school you went to. Because you got to understand, it's probably around 25 high schools in Louisville. And so after middle school, you really might not hear from some people. People go each and every direction. And so me personally, this is how an interaction would go in the city of Louisville if it was specific to me. And where'd you go to high school? Oh, I went to Manual. The fuck does mean? You know what I'm saying? But I'll break it down for y'all. As I said, I went to DuPont Manual High School. Historically, It is a very prestigious academic school. It's really not up for debate. This is facts. Manual's the best academic school you can go in the state of Kentucky, let alone Louisville. As far as academics, probably in the top 150 in the whole United States. Okay? So I went to school with some people that was, I wouldn't even say necessarily like, oh, these are geniuses. Don't get me wrong. I remember I'm CNN, boom. DuPont Manual student creates a new hearing device. I'm like, I'm really in class with bro. And so I would say, though, it ain't just filled with geniuses, more so people who are trying to do something. Yeah, buddy got a 2.2 GPA, but quiet as it's kept, he has his own self-employed clothing brand and company straight out of his house, his mom's house, that's about to take off in the next 1 to 2 years. So I think the biggest thing about where I went to high school was everybody in the school was striving to do something. It was a performing arts school, so you had actors, singers, dancers, athletes. Like I said, you got artists who can draw, paint, you name it, photographers, we had it. Like high school musical type of vibe. But it's still beefs going on till this day behind high school rivalries. I wish I was playing. But the second question is, you a Louisville or Kentucky fan? And we either finna become great friends or it's nice talking to you. This is where this conversation ends. Because it really get that deep in the city as far as we don't have any professional teams. No NBA, no NFL, no MLB. We just got a professional soccer team not too long ago. We got a minor league baseball team. Shout out to Louisville Bats. But we don't have no heavy hitters. So our heavy hitters are the Louisville Cardinals and that other team in Lexington that wears blue uniforms. And so as far as the totem pole in the city, you could imagine if you're a high school athlete in the city of Louisville, doing your thing, you D1, you getting college attention, you're treated as if you're a college athlete in the city. People probably know who you are. You're getting more news clippings than usual. And if you're a college athlete doing your thing for the University of Louisville or the University of Kentucky, you'll get treated as if you were a professional athlete because you have no competition. Lamar Jackson, Teddy Bridgewater, Peyton Siva, Russ Smith. Listen, man, I don't care what happens past college for y'all boys. Worst case scenario, y'all can come back to the 502 and we'll figure this thing out. And so growing up, sports was everything. I grew up in the pinnacle of Louisville athletics as far as Rick Pitino, Francisco Garcia, Taekwon Dean, Earl Clark, T. Will. What y'all know about it? My 8th grade year, I was fortunate enough to go to the Sugar Bowl. Louisville played Florida. Yeah, Florida fans, and they're like, welcome. Glad to have you guys. This is a neutral site. We in New Orleans. What do y'all, huh? Went in there and got right with Florida. First play of the game, pick 6. Teddy Bridgewater led us to the promised land, man. Oh, yeah, that same year, we beat Michigan in the national championship. Yeah, the one y'all try to act like didn't happen. No, it happened. I was there. Yeah, Trey Burke and them got them gone. Montrezl Harrell, Shane Bohannon, Peyton Siva, Russ Smith. Yeah, we was in the building. Luke Hancock. Oh, and that same year, the women also went to the national championship. They didn't win. And I want to say our college baseball team had some success in the World Series. Not saying they won a championship, but all in all, my whole childhood, all I knew from men's sports, women's sports, baseball, football, soccer, winning, competing, and everyone around me really caring about it. And so it's easy to say like passion for sports came natural to me growing up. That leads kind of into something that I want to address as far as something that means a lot to me and that I owe all the credit to outside of God as far as getting to this point, and not me insinuating that I've made it, but as I said, goals I've knocked down, places I've been, all goes to my support system. And I always try to be very transparent about what I did and didn't have along my journey of trying to become a professional football player. And so, as far as what I did have was an unwavering support system from my mom's side of the family. Excuse me. From my mom's side of the family. Allergy season, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. From my mom's side of the family to my dad's side of the family, very supportive, and it was very hard for me or my brother to fail, I guess you could say. And so starting with my mom, greatest woman I know, wouldn't want anyone else to be my mother. I've got some words written down to describe my mother. Before I get into that, my parents did split up when I was very young. This is not a sob story or, oh my God. No, it ain't none of that. I have no recollection of them being together, and I think they did a great job co-parenting as far as handling the two of us, as in me and my brother. But starting with my mom, as I said, some words I have written down for her. Loving, compassionate, precise, organized, tough, and competitive. And so my mom grew up the youngest of 3 siblings. She's from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. It's a very southern town in Kentucky, close to Nashville, Tennessee. Okay? And so she grew up in the projects of Hopkinsville, you know what I'm saying? But good childhood, you know what I'm saying? Just her 2 siblings, and her mother. And all of them in their own right are overachievers. My mom, my aunt, who I'm about to get into, my uncle was a state champion wrestler. Ended up graduating college, now lives well off in Atlanta. And so the common denominator amongst them all, though, was they all had to go out and earn it and go get it. And unfortunately, they didn't have the same luxuries as me, my brother, my cousin, as far as, go chase your dreams. We got your back. And that's not because necessarily that they was in that much power. It was just that's kind of what the times were as far as the 70s and 80s from what they've told me. No, you go work hard, hopefully go find a stable job and create a family, and you go from there. And so they weren't really in a position to be taking chances. And, at that time, there was no social media phones. Can't just go to LA and. So my mom raised me on tough love, to be honest. I'm not saying it wasn't any I love yous or hugs and kisses. It was all of that. But as far as getting pats on the back for doing stuff I was supposed to be doing, wasn't happening. Or me coming to my mom with my lips stuck out because something wasn't going my way, wasn't happening. Quick story. It's my 6th grade year. We're in the midst of basketball tryouts, and so before the actual tryouts, they held an open gym, which just means the coaches would be there, but it's not really any structure to it. They're kind of just spectating, really trying to filter out who's going to be on the team and who's not going to be on the team before the actual tryout. And so we go in there, and one of my friends, he's killing. Shout out Jackson Burgess. And he's killing to the point where one of the coaches pulls him to the side after the open gym and is like, "You only got to come to tryouts. Like, you already locked in. You good." So I'm like, what he say? He tells me. So I go home to my mom like, damn, like, he told Jackson he don't even got to go to tryouts. Like, he didn't say nothing to me. He didn't see me. My mom looked at me with a straight face and was like, well, you make him see you then. Or you give him a reason to see you tomorrow. But I don't know what you want me to tell you, but if he don't see you, you give him a reason to see you. Obviously, you wasn't doing enough. Heard you. I'm killing the next day. 7th to 8th graders on the sideline, like, yeah, that's the point guard right there. You play sports, you know how it is. You get that stamp of approval from them older teammates. You're like, yeah, I'm good. I am good. Go ahead and start introducing myself. My name's Bryce. Now, what's your name? Yep. But you know what I'm saying? It was tough love. It was what I needed though. As a black man in our society, I think it was what was needed to mold me into what I needed to become to chase the things that I said I wanted at an early age. But as I said, my mom, she contributed to some of the things that I get complimented for. For example, our household was very structured, meaning my mom worked for the school system. So Sunday, she would tell me and my brother, give me y'all's 5 outfits. So she would iron 10 outfits, my 5 and my brother's 5, on Sunday. So we could have them stacked next to our door. So in the morning, we could be that much more efficient instead of having to, rip and run, iron this, put this in the dryer. Nah. So Monday through Friday, we already had our whole outfits ready. So wake up, grab outfit, go in the shower, get ready. Another hack she used to have, a grocery list on the kitchen table. So I'm going to the grocery on Friday if I put this grocery list up here. Whatever you might want, put it on this list. If you don't say I didn't ask. The list been up there for the past 3-4 days. And then as far as meals for the week, we knew what we was eating Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We knew we would go out to eat somewhere. McDonald's, pick something up. And so while we might not have had everything, and I don't like to romanticize poverty. I'm not saying that we was broke by any means. I had everything I needed and most of what I wanted. But while we might not have had everything, we had structure and consistency. And in hindsight, now that I'm a little older and early in adulthood, I think looking back, I can definitely appreciate that and see where it played a positive impact in my life. My mom has been my rock my whole life. Somebody I could lean on, my best friend, and I could go on and on. But that leads into my dad. Polar opposites is my mom. A lot more unhinged, a lot more raw, uncut, but he had done what I was trying to do, and I saw that from an early age as far as I wanted to be a football player. And from what I saw, from what he told me, and from what I heard when I was with him and we ran into people, that's what he was. Your dad was a bad boy back in the day. I can't tell you how many times I heard that. And my pops always exuded confidence, no matter what his situation was. You know what I'm saying? And he taught me to do that. But he always walked as if he was that guy or the man, like I said, regardless of what his situation was. And that leads into what I can appreciate the most about my dad and my upbringing, as far as he was always honest and vulnerable with me and my brother. Like, my dad never cut no corners. Look, this is what dad did right in life. This is what dad did wrong in life. You say you trying to go here. Y'all say y'all got these goals. This is what's going to prevent y'all from getting there. This is what's going to help y'all to get there. I'm telling you because I done lived it. He would always tell me, don't ever be afraid to tell. It's nothing you could tell me that I ain't done, seen, or been a part of. So you don't ever be afraid to call dad. You know what I'm saying? And so, as a man, having another man show you that accountability, that honesty, is one thing. But just as a black man, I'll never not be thankful for my pops. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he never exuded or tried to portray like he was perfect. And he made it clear to us that I'm far from perfect. But those words within itself is enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Now, as an adult, really being honest, seeing other people's relationship with their parents and seeing kind of how toxic things can really get, open my eyes to how blessed I am as far as that standpoint of things. And so, love Pops, and couldn't be more thankful and grateful to have, a dad, like I said, it just taught me to be a man and taught me which way to and not to go. And the last person I want to speak on, Aunt Suzanne. And she was literally like an angel sent from heaven, as far as just, they say it takes a village. And as someone who was, I would consider a dream chaser from a very early age, I think most kids in life just need someone who's willing to invest in their dream. I think it is two-sided, meaning the kid, you have to give people a reason to want to invest in your dream. And I think that's where I got to give myself some credit. I've always been maniacal about the game of football. Like 6 years old, 7 years old, I'm on Google. Hey, hold on, travel football, playing talent all across the United States. Yeah, Mom, Suzanne, yeah, I found this. Boy, I'm just saying, letting y'all know what it is this way. But Suzanne was there for a lot of the extracurricular. That my mom handled a lot of the in-house stuff, bills, you know what I'm saying, groceries, all of that good stuff, rent, more, all of that. Suzanne would pitch in just wherever she saw fit. Transportation, maybe she got to pick me up from practice or do one or the other. Maybe she just needs to take me to practice. My mom could pick me up, you know what I'm saying, or all these camps, them games I was just referring to, them national championships, Sugar Bowls. Oh yeah, that was Suzanne on the ones and twos. Every summer, I was able to go to a football camp, a basketball camp, and an educational camp. And so when I say Suzanne really invested in my dream, like, oh, you trying to do this sports thing? Let's do it. I'm gonna give you every liable resource possible in my power to try to help you get to your dream. And I'm forever indebted to Suzanne. And so those three people, I would say, as far as my core support system, I'd never want to go without giving them their flowers. And I want to be very transparent as far as I definitely had a village and people who catapulted me into the position that I was able to get into and that I'm still thriving to get into. As far as where this journey started, man, it started with Little League football, like most football players. And so I started on a team initially. Things just weren't really going the way I wanted them to. And that's not really me making excuses. I was 7, 8 years old, but I'm one of the most athletic kids on the team. Why am I not carrying the ball? This is Little League. Why are we playing one side of the ball? And so, I was like, express my dissatisfaction to the CEO being my mother. Her being as diligent, as precise as she is, as I explained, she goes to one of her coworkers who plugs her into a team that we actually lost to in my first ever championship game, my Mighty Mighty year. If you can't beat them, join them. No, I'm just kidding. But mentor that I'm about to speak on, Brad Miles, is who my mom reached out to. Basically saying, I have this son. He's very passionate about the game of football. We're looking for a new team. Would love to hear what you guys have to offer. Thanks. Brad responds in a page-long email. This is our scheme. This is what our practice schedule looks like. This is what we expect from our players. So when my mom's reading me this, I'm locksmith. This is where we need to be then. And so I ended up joining the Stewart Spartans. Best decision I could have made in my life. I made a lot of long-term relationships there as far as friends I'm still cool with to this day, coaches that I'm still have relationships with to this day. But speaking on Brad Miles, quick story. So we're playing the KYS Steelers, inner city team. And so you know how it is when you're in Little League, my football players know, you get out the car, you got your helmet and your shoulder pads. You know what I'm saying? I got the compression shirt on, tucked in the pants, big ass pads in the pants. Now let's get it. I'm out here. And so, it's just me and my mom. Suzanne's at the game as well. But getting out the car is just me and my mom. And when you grow up with a single mom, naturally, you start getting some spunk to you early. My dad didn't live in Louisville majority of my childhood. He moved to Cincinnati when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade. And so this is when I'm in 6th grade. So, instances where maybe we out in the a dude might approach my mom. You know, like I said, you start getting spunk to you because you get to it just being you and her, or me, my brother, and her. So we getting out the car. I got my pads with me. The team we're about to play is right there at the entrance. So when I walk in, their coach identified me immediately. He's like, there he go. Y'all gonna let him kill y'all like he been doing everybody else? These are sixth graders. Hell no. Huh? Y'all gonna let him run all over y'all like he been doing everybody else? Hell no. So I glance over my mom and I'm seeing a little bit of a worry. And so Brad's not too far away, but he didn't hear that. And so we walk up to Coach Brad, and she's like, Brad, you know, I don't know. Hey, I think they're going to try to hurt him. Yada, yada, yada. She's telling him about everything they saying. And Brad says some of the most gangster stuff in response as far as they got to catch him first. And I'm kind of looking at my mom like, Mom, are you scared of these niggas? Because at this point, I'm looking at them. I'm still in sixth grade, so I'm not really ready to pop it yet. But in my head, what time we put? 10:30. I'll see y'all at 10:30. Nah, because I'm Donald's son at the end of the day. Don't ever get it twisted. And so I went out there and got busy on them boys. I ain't gonna lie. Couple touchdowns, you know, it ain't shit. But Stewart taught me a lot, man. We was out there running real plays. We had real structure, wristbands, hook and ladders, double reverses, bubble screens. Nothing was too much for us. And we had some guys on that team, but that taught me winning habits. Like I said, Brad Miles taught me how to compete. We'll be walking into games. The other team will be right there. Don't even look at them. They don't even deserve to be on the same field as y'all. And I really be believing that shit. But it just taught me, like I said, a lot of the intangible things you needed as far as football is concerned. And that leads into my 8th grade year. And another influential mentor and figure I want to speak on, which is one of my coaches, Coach Peters. And so me and Coach Peters still have a great relationship to this day. He started off as my 7th grade math teacher. And this kind of leads into something I want to quickly touch on as far as a bone to pick, I guess you could say, I have with the black community, black men in specific. But I can speak on this in particular because I've experienced it. But you see a lot of people of influence, of power, talking about we need more doctors, more politicians, more lawyers, more jobs outside of picking up a ball or a mic. And I can't say I disagree. What I can say is that's definitely easy to say in front of a camera with a mic or whatever the case may be. But the reality is, or at least from experience I've seen and things I've experienced, you know what the peers of these kids that you're referring to who may be articulate and intelligent but aren't necessarily as athletically gifted, do you know what they deal with from their peers when they're in school? Square, lame, you acting white. And so, as I said, yes, I was intelligent, I would say, growing up. I got good grades. But that was probably because, one, I knew I had parents that I had to answer to that would come with real disciplinary action if anything else would have happened. My mom was in the education system. Two, I could always combat anything with sports. Bryce, what you get? A 95? I know you studied and shit, lame ass. Bro, fuck, do you want to go out here on this basketball court or this football field real quick and really like see what's what? Nah, all right then. But people who don't have that option and also might not have an influential male figure in their life, who are they left to look to as far as guidance or direction. They're peers. And we all know how that can end. And so for me, having somebody like Coach Peters was the first young black male I saw in the school system who showed me like, oh, nah, yeah, you can be cool, fly, and smart. Like, yeah, you can do all three at once. I promise. I'm doing it. I'm living it. And so he played a major factor in not just my life, but a lot of young males' lives in no middle school at that point. But he also became the football coach my 8th grade year. And that's when I went from steward to playing for my middle school team. And I was playing quarterback. Some of y'all might be looking at the screen crazy or listening crazy. Nah, that's what was going on. I was just vertically challenged. Don't get it twisted. You better ask, man. Look. And so that year was the first year I would say I was a part of a team. Stewart, I had some great teams, but, we were in elementary school, early and middle school. This is our 8th grade year. Like I said, I'm playing for my school for the first time, so I'm in the locker room now. It's people from different backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? This was the first team experience I felt like I had looking back in hindsight. We started not so well and ended on a very high note, and it was one of the most nostalgic football experiences I have known to date, to be honest. So now I'm going from middle school to high school. I don't want y'all to think that's a big leap for me. Anyone from Louisville knows. I just said I went to No, and now I'm about to go to Manual. That's literally walking distance. You could peek your head out of the door at No middle school and be looking at Manual High School. You want to know something crazier? You can peek your head out of the door at Manual High School and be looking at Louisville's campus. So I've been around older people, you know what I'm saying, my whole life. Middle school, I'm on the bus with high schoolers. Scared as hell in the front. You walking to middle school, you really could be walking by a Louisville student. Now, obviously, they do their best to keep it segregated, but you never know. It's one big area. Anyways, when I get to high school, man, I'm still playing quarterback. And I'm hooping, I ain't gonna lie. Freshman year, we doing our thing. I throw a varsity touchdown. I think I'm about to blow up as a quarterback. Delusional. But I had to make a business decision. And all high school kids, I hope you hear this. Some of y'all are playing basketball and need to make a business decision. Yeah. That little 8-8 ain't gonna get you to Duke, man. Go ahead and put your hand in that dirt. I had to make a business decision. As I told y'all, man, I'm vertically challenged. How tall is you, Bryce? 5'12". But I'm like, let me go ahead and move to DB. I was playing DB. I played it growing up. Let me go ahead and fully move to DB if I want to do this D1 thing, like I say. And so I locked in, made a lot of progression, really started to buy into the weight room. My high school, we had a real off-season program, pretty much like college. Wasn't no going home after school. We're here. From 2:20 to around 5 p.m., you at school, lifting, running, doing whatever they had us doing that day. So my sophomore year, I'm really gaining confidence in the offseason, and this was a pivotal moment. A young man by the name of Jarris Brents enrolled in our school. Anyone from Louisville knows, who has followed the football scene or has just been around, knows the name I just said, okay? A couple words or phrases that come to mind when I think of Jarris Brents: young phenom, dog, really own that, out here, savage. Do with those as you please. Anyways, Jarris, my freshman year, I'm hearing like, hey, yeah, it's this kid. He's benching 225 in middle school. The fuck? Yeah, they said he already got an offer from Kentucky in the 7th grade. He was up there locking high school receivers up. He ran a 4.42 at their camp. Time out. What? I'm working out one day, and one of my best friends in high school at this point, Lamont, Lamont, if you watching this, yes, this really happened. I still love you and everything, but this really happened. Lamont walks up to me as I'm working out. Hey, yeah, man, you might as well stop what you doing. I just seen that little Jairus dude working out. It's over with. Basically, he's better than you. Damn. Like, I could see if I was on my ass, you know what I'm saying, eating Fritos and shit, and you like, hey, man, while you over here chilling, I just seen Buddy like, no, I'm actively trying to compete. I'm actively trying to get better on myself. And here come Negative Nancy. Yeah, man, you might as well just wrap it up. You wasting your time. And so, it's going to be people along the journey that you just going to have to shrug off, you know what I'm saying? Water off a penguin's back. So I'm like, yeah, I hear you, you know what I'm saying? But is this where I'm like, you know what, you right. What? He's going to have to beat me then. That's what's going to have to happen. But I'll be damned if I'm just like, you know what? Since you say that, you right, let me just stop doing what I'm doing. Nah. He's going to have to beat me. And so I ended up winning the starting job. Ended up breaking my collarbone halfway through the season. And that was kind of a blessing and a curse. Because like I said, never want to get hurt. I missed a lot of the vital games, though, that were against the biggest, most notable teams in the city. The Mills, Trinity, St. X's. The teams the scouts want to see. I wasn't able to play in any of those. And I wasn't really able to get notable respect from the city because they don't care what you do against certain teams, what you do against them ones. Trinity, St. X, Mail. We won't know what you did in them 3 games. As far as if you really want to start proving yourself. What it did show me being on the sideline in some of those games I'm referring to, of these big programs in the city of Louisville, is the energy and intensity that was in these games. So I'm like, okay. Yeah, I know. Like I definitely was working hard last year, but in order to become a guy, I need to turn it up a notch. And so something that happened for me going into my junior year of high school, 2015, that I very strongly believe changed everything for me, is I watched the Kobe Muse documentary. Okay? And people throw around this like lock-in phrase loosely and lock in for 6 months and you can change your life. No. I really believe me locking in and not the fake lock-in. Like, I'm about to explain it to y'all, but every fiber of my body, intention, ounce of energy, visualization, manifestation, mental strength, mental training, strength training, everything was poured into, as I stated at this point, going D1 and making what at that point was a dream a reality. I watched the Kobe Muse documentary, and I don't want to spoil it in case some of you all might want to watch it, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but briefly, the main 2 things I realized after watching it that like woke me up and essentially changed my life. 1, I'm not doing nearly enough. I'm not doing nearly enough. And if I think I am, I'm lying to myself. Because I heard a quote. I can't think of it. Maybe Tony Yayo. It was one of 50's acquaintances. And he talked about 50's work ethic. And he was like, what's crazy is he was the hardest working dude in the room, yet he made the most money. And I'm hearing about Kobe and what he's doing. And I'm like, that's why I'll never get when people's like, oh, if I get X amount of money, it'd be easy for me to be a professional athlete too. Bullshit. Because it's people nowhere near Kobe's level who ain't willing to do what he's doing, and he's easily touching 6, 7. I'm not trying to be in his pockets, but he's a billionaire. God rest his soul. And so it taught me I'm not doing nearly enough. And there's strength and real power in tapping into the darker emotions when it comes to striving towards what you want and getting there quicker. And so Kobe in this Muse documentary taught me whatever that trauma is that you might have been through in life, whatever might seem like a dark spot, a scar, a bad memory, maybe it's something from your childhood, whatever that is, channel that into your craft with every fiber in your being. And he said a quote that I really related to, which was, once I started playing with that real anger, and I got to thinking about just things I had been through in life, and channeled that and started to exude that on the field or on the court, and experienced that for the first time, he looked at the camera and said, "I fucking loved it." And it almost gave me chills because I can relate to it. As crazy as it sounds, I can relate to that. As far as I can be a very, like I said, mild-mannered, quiet, reserved dude for the most part. But football has always given me the opportunity of expressing emotions I may never was able to. And so in 2015, I signed a contract, me and my best friend John Sneed. No fast food for the remainder of the semester. So this started in January, ended in July. No fast food. I started doing 500 push-ups and pairing that with abs every day. Did it start at 500? No. It probably started at 100 and I worked up to 200. But at its peak, it got to 500 a day. I didn't care if I was at a friend's house, if we were about to go out somewhere, if I was on the phone with a girl. Oh yeah, no, I'm listening. Keep going. I would consider like the push-ups, the abs, these were non-negotiables. Give a damn what's going on in my day. These have to get checked off the to-do list. And like I said, this is going into my junior year of high school. We always had a team workout, and so that was like clockwork at this point in high school. But for me, I had to do another workout on top of that. If that meant telling my mom to move her car out the garage at midnight, then so be it. But like I said, that documentary woke me up and showed me to get to where you're trying to go, one, you got to get uncomfortable, and two, there's a lot of fucking work between you and your goals. And I would explain like this. As far as in pursuit of your goals, a lot of people say they suffer from procrastination or fear, doubt. Me too. I'm just saying as far as taking steps in the right direction towards your goals and sitting there twiddling your thumbs, thinking about them, or laying in your bed dreaming about them, and versus actually doing something, think about this picture. You and somebody are about to race on the track. Y'all are getting ready. On your mark, get set, go. They start walking. You still stretching. Like imagine, those Olympics where it's the 80-year-olds doing the race. Imagine that pace. But they walking. But you stretching. And that stretching, that's procrastinating. That's you on ChatGPT coming up with this miraculous plan. That's you telling your trainer, can you send me the plan first? That's you holding off on them calls you're supposed to make. Yeah. But they steady walking. And guess what they doing when they walking? Figuring out mistakes that's going to take you 2 more weeks to figure out because they done started. Like, oh, damn, if I wouldn't even started, I wouldn't even realize this. I probably need to start stretching more. Or I probably need to save this next time instead of doing. It's just you learn stuff along the way anyways. But you're not going to learn that unless you start. Went on a tangent. Sorry about that. And so I stayed consistent to this regimen all the way up until our first game of high school. And I remember telling my mom, like, in the summer right before my junior year of high school was about to start and the season was about to start, like, this has to be my best season yet. And that's how you get the feeling and speaking when you know you've put in genuine work towards anything. Because I dealt with doubt. I dealt with fear. I dealt with insecurity. But once I crossed that threshold of Like, you got to hit a point of work where it's like, there's no way. No other high schooler is doing what I'm doing right now. This shit got to work. And so that year went exactly as planned. Maybe not from a team perspective, but individually, 8 interceptions, 3 to the crib, first team all district, first team all metro. They snubbed me on first team all state, KHSAA. We still need to talk about that. 2016, Bryce Cosby, first team all state, snub. But it was a great season, and that's when recruiting started. And so anyone who's been recruited, when that starts, I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, like when recruiting first started, like you first start getting your first college attention, you like, oh, it's happening. I told y'all. Because, like, I really used to walk around school, y'all, when I was young. It's going to sound crazy, but, like, you know, we had a dude named Mike Nero. Played running back. Shout out Mike. Was a dog. But I used to see the treatment he used to get around school. And I really used to walk around school my sophomore, freshman year, like, y'all don't know yet. Like, in my head, like, y'all don't know yet, but I'm one of them ones. Soon enough, when I turn the corner, you know, people going to be, hey, there you go. All right, so nobody worried about you, man. But that's how I was thinking at that age, you know what I'm saying? And so when the recruitment starts, you know, and coaches is, hey, yeah, can we get Bryce Cosby for a second? Girls is, yeah, it's going on. But it's just a great feeling. Like, I can remember being in class, phone go off. You know, you can feel that certain notification. Oh, that's Twitter. Coach so-and-so is now following you. Like, who is this? And it was a great feeling. And that's how it starts. And then you kind of get used to it. And then you're ready for it to end. I'm ready to commit to a school and get back to doing what I love most, which is playing ball. And so the school I chose was Ball State. Why? Proximity to home. Okay. The opportunity to play right away, given I do what's necessary and show that I'm capable. The DB coach, Coach Chevis Jackson, who is now at Wake Forest, went to LSU, won a national championship, and played in the NFL. Things I aspire to do at that age. And lastly, as far as education, I always said I either wanted to be a sports commentator or a coach. David Letterman put a lot of money into the communications program at Ball State, so I said, you know what, I'm a major in digital telecommunications. And so for those reasons, I chose Ball State. Obviously, they were very consistent in my recruiting. Like, wouldn't leave me alone. Seemed genuinely the most interested. So it just made the most sense. So I get there. I win the starting job. Fresh out of prom, man. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a crazy feeling. My first game to get an interception. Oh, I'm going to the NFL. Little did I know. That year I was actually a part of what I would consider probably the worst D1 college football team in the United States. Just a couple factual events that happened that year. Number one, we didn't win a single conference game. 2-10 overall record. Number two, we went on a 3-week span where we didn't score a single touchdown. Number three, we, at one point in the game, botched a punt, lost negative 20 yards, and ended up on SportsCenter not top 10. I can remember riding home on the bus, listening to music, Soul Child, just, like, is this what I signed up for, man? Like, did I make the wrong decision coming here? I had other options. I could have went to other places. Did I really mess up in making this decision? Sophomore year, let me rewind. I had a very pivotal injury. The end of my freshman year, I hurt my knee, dislocated my kneecap, and tore my patella tendon. Okay, not the smartest thing I ever did, but I decided, you know what? I don't want to get surgery on it in the offseason. I'm gonna play on it. Okay, so going into my sophomore year, things don't get too much better. 2-10 to 4-8. We actually did win a conference game this year. We beat weak ass Central Michigan. And I say weak ass because they was weak just like us in 2018. And when we beat them, I go in the locker room, it's people boo-hoo crying. Like we just won the MAC championship. I'm like, I know you lying. Like, all right, I get we done been through some shit, y'all, but let's get back to reality. We suck and so do they. Do y'all forget we almost just beat Notre Dame 3-4 weeks ago? That almost happened. But that's where we was at as a program, y'all. If that gives you any type of perspective on how far down we were and where the standards were, we had people shedding real tears. I'm not going to say no names. And I get it. It was a long time coming. But tears for Central Michigan is crazy. That year, I just learned, one, to start learning to have fun with the game again. Because I promise I was falling out of, not love, but fun for the game. Like, this shit ain't fun. Like, it's not fun having a good inkling that we probably going to lose today. And I know that probably sounds crazy, y'all, as a competitor, but if you've been in one of them locker rooms, you know what I mean. And so, going into my junior year, man, I finally get my knee repaired. That surgery was real. That's going to be a whole nother episode within itself. I get my knee repaired. And I'm really locked in going into my third year. I'm tying this back to high school. Like, man, look, going into my third year of high school, that was my year. I need to do the same thing in college if I want to get to my ultimate goal, which is the NFL. As a team, we were coming together like, this is it, y'all. We got the talent now. We've got the experience. We done took it on the chin. It's time to do it. All right? And that year, honestly, wasn't a bad year. We were competitive week in, week out. But we still came up short. And I think that's something I learned my junior year of college. Like, man, you could do everything right and still fall short of the ultimate goal. And if I ever felt like low in college, it was at the end of my junior year, to be honest with y'all. As far as confidence, just at an all-time low. I lost my grandmother my junior year of college. You know what I'm saying? I had already dealt with, at this point, my third surgery. We've won a combined 11 games, and I have yet to get any postseason accolades as far as like all conference awards, anything. And at this point, I think I have 1 year left. This is why trust, patience, and faith in God, most importantly, is always at a premium. Because honestly, after 2019, that's all my career has been. And I'm going to be pretty brief around this phase because a lot of everything after this is stories within themselves. And that's what I have this podcast for. So stay tuned. But I thought the NFL was starting to look a little far-fetched, to be honest with y'all. Not because I didn't think I was capable or my ability. It's just haven't shown to be healthy all the way yet. We haven't won any games, so there's not really attention on our university. And like I said, I'm not even getting the respect of my own conference as far as all conference selection. So it's going to be a tall task. COVID happens. And, I want to speak tread lightly when it comes to COVID. I know that's a sensitive topic to some people. People have lost family members. It was of detriment to our society in a lot of ways, but it definitely opened an opportunity for me and essentially made my dreams a reality and gave me an opportunity to keep chasing them. So following that year, it went from, like I said, an all-time low to almost an all-time high. Went from not experiencing winning at all to winning the first MAC championship in over 20 years. The first bowl win in school history. One that I was fortunate enough to win Defensive Player of the Game in. My first time getting first team All-MAC as far as the all-conference selections I was just telling you guys about. And so it was much of the same the next year. I had a very successful year the next year individually. As a team, we fell short of the mark. We were able to go to a bowl game, but we lost. And so now I'm looking my dreams in the face as far as, okay, and things move fast as soon as you get done with college and you're trying to go to the NFL. I mean, I got done with college, immediately went to a showcase in Dallas. After that, flew to Fort Myers. From Fort Myers, back home. From home to Indiana for my pro day. And now you're waiting as far as, okay, am I going to get my shot? And I did with the Las Vegas Raiders, where I spent 2 years. And in that 2 years, I learned a lot. I think I met a lot of great people. I got to look my dream in the face for over a year. You know what I'm saying? I got to see what the NFL is really like. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Like I said, I could never be bitter with the experience. I got to be a part of a league that not a lot of people get to be a part of. And my perspective on a lot of things will forever be changed because of those experiences in my first 2 years with that organization. And so, having been cut from them going into my second year, a lot of soul searching after that. Easily the hardest year of my life to date, 2023. Went from working a job people dream of to working at Amazon. Boy. Like I said, a lot of these are stories within themselves, but if you want a sneak peek of what that might sound like, go to my socials at _BCOS5 on Instagram, on TikTok at _BCOSTALKING. B Kaz talking. But man, just a lot of soul searching where I learned to really drop my ego. You know, you think people care about you in a sense as far as, man, I don't want to be seen in certain places if I'm at home because I don't want to answer these questions or yada yada. People don't really care about you as much as you think. One of my favorite creators right now, Higher Up Wellness. His real name is Michael Smoke, but if you don't follow him or aren't aware of his content, definitely, regardless of what you're doing in life, it's very beneficial. It's self-helpish, and he just has a lot of powerful words. But something he said that's always stuck with me is a quote where he said, "You're an extra in everyone else's movie." And I really thought about it, and I'm like, damn. And so that's kind of what the mind frame I've got into at this point. And it just taught me a lot. Like I said, transitioning from that, I got an opportunity in the CFL with the Montreal Alouettes. And this was just a refreshing feeling, bro. Like, back playing ball again, doing what I love, having not played football in close to a year. I was really just more so grateful to be doing what I loved again at a professional level and being fortunate enough to get paid to do it. If we're being honest, because I had seen what it was like to get paid to do something else at that point. I'm like, fuck that. Where do I sign? And so I played there for a year, was very productive. Like I said, found that spark that I was looking for again, having been out for close to a year. Unfortunately, that ended going into the next year. I was released from their team. And so in that gray area of going to the next team, I think that's where I really found this space where I'm in now as far as content. To finish, I ended with the Edmonton Elks, another CFL team. And that's where I ended this past season of 2025 in November, where our season came to an end. As of right now, yes, I'm still playing for who next year. It won't be official until sometime after February or March. And to be honest with you guys, it's completely out of my control. But I think to conclude the pod, man, is just like I said, this space for me is one to be genuine and authentic in the sense of nothing on my journey has been on the straight and narrow or something that's been easy. And I think I can relate to a lot of people in the sense of hardship and adversity towards striving towards something, wanting something that seems out of reach more times than not. I relate in any regard, like I said. And I relate in the pain that comes with chasing that. The doubt, the insecurity, the fear, the setbacks, the doors getting constantly closed in your face over and over and over and over again when you feel like I'm capable, I'm enough. I know I can do the job. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, every person you come across feels as if, yeah, but we don't really necessarily like this about you, or you don't provide this, or you're not this height, or you don't build it, you don't fit this stature, or you don't speak like that. And so, if anything, for one, I want to be a vessel or proof to those that you're not alone. I too deal with all the human emotions that come with pursuing anything. And for two, that now that out the gates here, you got a platform that you can confide in and indulge in that will hopefully give you some value, entertainment, and positivity to essentially just make your day a little better. As I said, I was pretty broad about certain topics. If you like this, please like, comment, subscribe, because, man, we got a lot more to talk about. Until next time, thank you guys.